Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you to the April 15th special meeting of the Finance and Audit Committee. I'd firstly like to recognize that we are on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. Our clerk today will be Ms. Skye Snellgrove. If during the course of the meeting any member of the gallery has a question regarding an agenda item, would you please write it down on the question sheet on the divider, and it has to relate, of course, to an agenda item. And at the end of the meeting, I'll call up those who've signed on to ask questions. The first item is, of course, the introduction of late items. Ms. Snellgrove, I understand there are none.
No late items.
Motion for approval of the agenda is presented.
So moved.
Councillor Thorpe, seconded Councillor Bonner. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. We have a very important presentation this morning. Ms. Mercer, the 2019-2023 Financial Plan Update.
Thank you.
And Ms. Fuller, although I notice we have you described as Ms. Wendy Fully this morning.
She's changed her name. She no longer wants to be known as Wendy Fuller. So we're here to continue our discussion from last Wednesday regarding the budget. At that time, Council had wanted to know the impact of adding another position to the Planning Department. So we're here, there's a report in the agenda that talks to that. But before we get to that, Ms. Fuller is going to do a quick recap of some of there was a couple of changes that have been made since then, so we will get into that and then we'll discuss the position.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So last Wednesday, we walked you through the highlights of the changes from provisional to final. On Wednesday, you approved 2 additional changes to the budget, and we also had one update to our estimates that came in just after the meeting ended. So I just wanted to walk you through where you're currently sitting right now with the budget before you consider the report before you. So as I said, we had 3 changes. You added closed captioning for meetings at $25,300, so a 0.03% impact. You added a grant for the Mid-Island Business Initiative, but you funded that from your council contingency, so that has no impact to property taxes in 2019. And we received our final number from the RDN for the Recreation, Sports and Facilities Agreement. So this is the money they pay over to us for RDN residents that are using city facilities, and that came in just over $81,000 higher than anticipated. So we moved from that 5.04 where we were sitting at the end of the changes to provisional. We went down 0.06, so we're currently sitting at 4.98% or a 5% property tax increase. And so that had, so I got the summary here. So of course, 1% goes to the General Asset Management Reserve, 4% for general tax increases, and we went $1 down for the impact to a typical household. So on Wednesday, we were sitting at $101 for a typical house. We're sitting at $100 even right now for the typical household based on the current projected property tax increase.
Good news.
So the addition of engineering development technician, what we did is we looked at a half a year, adding it to the 2019 budget, and then a full year in thereafter. And that impact is about a $48,000 increase to the 2019 budget, and about 92 for 2020. So that, if we added that to the budget, we would be back to where we were, at the same place we were last week at about a 5.04% increase. And so that's the discussion on the table at this moment. If you had any questions for Mr. Lindsay or...
Any questions from Council?
I have one, Your Worship.
Councillor Thorpe.
It doesn't seem to be working, but that's okay. I think it's that one. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. And I apologize that I was not able to attend last Wednesday's Finance and Audit meeting. I'm just curious about the fact that we used $48,000, or tentatively have used $48,000 from the council contingency for 2019. And seeing as we're only 4 months into 2019, it seems to me we've dipped into that fund considerably already. Could you just let me know what is left in our contingency fund?
Through the chair to Councillor Thorpe. So you started, your council contingency was $100,000 at the start of the year. You allocated $7,500 to the Pride Parade and now $48,000 to the Mid-Island Business Initiative Grant. I have to do the math off the top of it.
So we have something over 50% of that fund left?
Yes, more than 50% is gone now. $44,500.
Okay, thank you.
A wise note of caution from Councillor Thorpe. Councillor Brown.
If there's no more questions, I am prepared to move a motion, so.
Why don't we wait a second and we'll...
We're just getting here.
Councillor Brown.
Yes, I would move that the 2019-2023 financial plan be amended to add the additional engineering development technician effective July 1st, 2019.
Any discussion?
Just a quick comment for those that may be watching or interested. The reason I'd like to move this is because we have heard, and I know I have heard it, and I know other councillors have heard it, is permit processing time is just through the magnitude of permits that we are receiving, the numbers sort of speak for themselves in terms of dollar amount and permit amounts. We're seeing really unprecedented development. So in order to, and some of that can be sort of shortened, their permitting times can be shortened through different processes and process changes, but it also comes down to just having seats in the chair, and we did hear from Mr. Lindsay a couple of weeks ago that that this position in particular is a bottleneck. So hopefully by we did ask the question, what can we do? And this was the answer given. So this position here can help alleviate that bottleneck.
I appreciate the speed with which we've moved on from the presentation, but I wondered if Mr. Lindsay wished to say anything about this, which is item 5 on our agenda.
Your Worship, I think all I could do is just add possibly to what Councillor Brown has said, and it was identified as a pinch point in our department right now. The section has seen incredible increases in their volumes, and if the report outlines they look at something like $6 million on average a year of reviewing city works, and last year that number jumped to 12.4, so a substantial increase. It's resulted in our increases in our overtime for our staff and the pressures on our staff. So I think this new position would significantly help. But it's important to note in the report it talks about our referral targets, which is the time it takes to respond to applications coming into other sections is at 2 weeks is our target, and we've been in more in the 6 to 8 weeks. So this will help us approve our design, but also help with those referrals, which we hope to see result in reduced times in our development permits and our subdivision applications also.
Thank you. Any further questions? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Councillor Thorpe.
Sorry, if I may, Your Worship, and not to prolong this, but I do want to echo Councillor Brown's comments, and we've heard from Mr. Lindsay about the growth in development applications and exciting times in the city. We've also heard that it's sometimes hard to fill these positions. So I think, as Councillor Brown indicated, we're showing that we're doing what we can to close some of the gaps in our staffing and hopefully make this process a little speedier for people that wish to invest in our city. So I'll certainly support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Gesselbrock.
I think this is a wonderful opportunity. I think, it's something, the permitting time is something that we all heard during the campaign, and a lot of us campaigned on this. And, from the report, it sounds like this can, be upwards, help with like a 33% increase in efficiency, which is, that's a big improvement. So I'm excited about this. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? All those in favor? Contrary? Motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Mercer, Ms. Fuller, and Ms. Wardle for coming this morning for your presentation. Thank you to Mr. Lindsay and everyone else for the report. I am going to assume there were no items for question. Oh, Council. Ms. Nelgrove. Oh, no, you're on the...
Sorry, Your Worship. I just wanted to say if there was any other changes that council was considering, if we could have them today for discussion, and then we can add it for final, because we will be coming back on the 29th for first 3 readings. So if there was any other changes, we'd like to get them on the table now, rather than on the 29th when we run out of time. So that was my only comment.
So, pardon the terrible pun, this is the last call for the Nanaimo Bar of Council. Is there a seconder? Councillor Brown? All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.